Hey y'all, I'm back with another true crime break. So I was watching this show yesterday called Married with Secrets, and y'all, let me tell y'all. So there was this doctor, right? His name was Dr. Jean-Claude Dominique. He was from Haiti. So he worked as an emergency room doctor. Now, prior to that, he met his wife, Elliette. She was working as a nurse in New York when they met. So she even paid for Dr. Jean-Claude's medical school expenses so he could become a doctor. So they lived in her apartment in Brooklyn while he was going to medical school and all. They got married, had a family, the two cute kids, the dog, all of that, right? So you would think that they just went on and lived happily ever after. Wrong. Well, apparently Dr. Jean-Claude had secrets going on. So he was out there, like R. Kelly said, just living a double life. Because Dr. Jean-Claude had a whole nother wife. Yes. So apparently 2 years after he married Elliette, his first wife, he then turned around in 1982 and married his high school sweetheart. Her name was Betsy, right? Okay, they were all from Haiti. Dr. Jean-Claude had a big family. I think they said he was like the oldest of like 23 kids or something like that. So he's out here going back and forth from Elliette to Betsy. And the two women didn't know anything about each other until one night, someone still is unsolved, hit Dr. Jean-Claude, like he was ran over in this vicious hit and run accident that left him in a coma for about 30 days, and he eventually died. Now, while he was in the hospital, he first got to the hospital, Elliette, his wife, rushes to the hospital to be by his side, and she sees another woman sitting bedside by her husband. So she's like, "Who are you?" The lady says, "I'm his wife. Who are you?" Elliette says, "I know you effing lying. I'm his wife." So that is how the two wives found out about each other, that he had been out here living a whole other life. And because on record Betsy was listed as his wife, the hospital even asked Elliette, his first wife, to leave. But y'all, the story gets even deeper than this, so you're just gonna have to come back for part 2. Okay, y'all, so I'm back with part 2. So in part 1, I told y'all how Dr. Jean-Claude was killed in a hit-and-run accident, and that's how his two wives found out about each other. So because Betsy was actually listed as the true wife, Elliette and her children with Jean-Claude were initially left with absolutely nothing. Elliette actually had to go back to court to sue to try to regain control of Jean-Claude's estate. So only then was it determined that Dr. Jean-Claude was not only shady, but he was trifling as hell, because he had hired some imposter woman that he probably found off the street somewhere to stand in as Elliette, and that lady forged Elliette's signature on the divorce papers. So in court, it was determined that the signature was forged and the divorce was null and void and fraudulent, and Elliette regained control of the estate. Now, Dr. Jean-Claude had not left Betsy anything as a beneficiary. He did leave his 2 children with her some money, but he didn't leave her anything. But Elliette did let her go ahead and keep the house that she and Jean-Claude had lived in. But as shady and trifling as Dr. Jean-Claude was, he had nothing on his younger brother, Ali. Now, this is Ali. Now, he never cared for Elliette. He actually favored Betsy, and he often told Elliette that Betsy was his brother's true wife. So after Jean-Claude's death, he was trying to pressure Elliette into having this big, extravagant funeral homegoing service, complete with limousines for like each member of the family, and Elliette refused. She wanted to be more frugal and not just blow the money. Now, that angered Ali so much, and he wanted control of the estate, so he went out and he hired a couple of hitmen to try to get rid of Elliette so he and Betsy could regain control of his brother's estate. Now, lucky and fortunately for Elliette, Ali hired Larry, Curly, and Moe here to kill her, and they botched the hit. Although they did shoot her 3 times, Elliot survived. And of course, one of them went on ahead and admitted, which prompted the rest of them to go ahead and fess up as well. And the bad part about it is that not only had Ali tried to have his sister-in-law Elliot killed, he was also trying to have the other sister-in-law Betsy, her children, and Elliot's children killed. Like, he wanted his brother's money and he was going to get it by any means necessary. In the end, all of the men went to prison. Betsy disappeared. Nobody knows where she went. Now, if you ask me, I firmly believe that Ali actually had something to do with his brother's death too, but that's just my opinion. My heart goes out to Elliot, though she was surrounded by nothing but snakes.